Welcome to today's video where we are going to be reviewing about the 10 words I-rhyme, pathetic fallacy, leidetes, amplification, demotion, didactic, oxymoron, verisimilitude, stream of consciousness, and innuendo.
I-rhyme.
When you see this, what is your first thought? Words that are spelled similar but pronounced different was probably not what you were thinking. The definition for I-rhyme is similar spelled words that are said differently. I can't explain it to be more simple than that, but for example, look at these two words. They look similar, but when it comes to pronunciation,
laughter, daughter.
Notice how, despite how they are spelled, they are said completely different. Let's do another one.
Yes.
I.
They don't sound similar at all, despite their only difference being E in front of yes. Hopefully you have a better understanding of what I-rhymes are.
Pathetic fallacy.
Despite the wording, it's actually very similar to personification. While personification gives non-human things such as trees or the sea human qualities, pathetic fallacy gives human emotion to non-human things. So that you can tell the difference between the two, an example of personification would be the trees danced in the wind, while pathetic fallacy would be more like the cruel sea. Authors often use this to show characters' moods or to add an atmosphere to their writing.
Leidetes.
Leidetes uses the opposite expression to demonstrate how good or bad something is. The weather isn't bad today. When listening to that sentence, do you assume the weather is good or bad? It's expressed as good even though it uses the word bad to describe the weather. If you still don't understand, another example is, the weather isn't great today, implying that the weather is in terrible condition despite using the word great.
Amplification.
When I hear amplification, I think of this. It's an amplifier. They're used to make sounds louder. But we're talking about literature here. In literature, amplification is the way a writer enhances a sentence to exaggerate certain points, the same way an amplifier is used to enhance a sound. For example, the phrase, "the dog is an excellent breed," can benefit from some amplification, turning it into, "the dog is an excellent breed, full of intelligence, loyalty, and overall courageous." The sentence was amplified by adding adjectives to describe the dog breed to make it more noticeable. A good film example of amplification would be in My Hero Academia Season 1 and Episode 2. Notice how they added that he took information from his notebook. Without some amplification, like showing the notebook page he was talking about, it would have been missed by the audience. The purpose of amplification is to have the reader focus on an idea they otherwise would have missed.
Demotion.
Demotion is an adjective, so they are often used in sentences. And while promotion means to encourage or raise, demotion means the opposite. Demotion means to reduce a rank or status. An example of it in a sentence would be, "My colleague just got a demotion today." It's unfortunate how it can't be used in a nice way, but that's okay.
Didactic.
The first word that comes to mind when I see this is dictionary. Dictionaries are designed to teach you words that you don't know, which means that dictionaries are very didactic. Didactic is an adjective that are usually used to describe things that teach you. Adjectives are used in sentences, therefore an example would be, "Teachers are very didactic." That phrase would explain that teachers educate you well. So, to sum it all up, didactic is just an adjective used to describe things that teach you.
Oxymoron.
An oxymoron are two words that contradict each other yet also make sense and form a new meaning. Contradict means to deny the truth by stating the opposite. It's fine if you still don't get it, this is only the definition. Hey, you're pretty. Oh, well, think pretty ugly. That was an example of an oxymoron. The pretty ugly is an oxymoron. There are so many more like awfully good, terribly nice, and loving hate. They are all oxymorons. The reason they are all oxymorons is because all of them are two words that contradict each other. To put it into simple terms, it's just two words that are completely opposite of each other combined.
Verisimilitude.
The definition of verisimilitude is the appearance of being true. An easier way to define it would be the extent to which the text is believable or which it intimidates life. From its roots, verisimilitude literally means similar to the truth. Aside from that, books that are similar to life or resemble reality would be considered verisimilitude, unlike books that add things like magic or powers in it. While it sounds similar to realism, they're not the same thing. Realism is what's actually real, and verisimilitude just has the appearance/cover of being true. Charlotte's Web is a good example since everything is real except for the fact that the pig and spider talk to each other. A good film example would be if the beginning of the story was cloudy and dark, then by the end it's starting to rain. This is a simple yet important example of verisimilitude. If you are writing a story and it mentions storm clouds, a storm must follow. When creating a believable story, even the smallest detail matters.
Stream of consciousness.
Consciousness is usually referred to when involving your mind and thoughts. Stream is usually referring to the flow of something, like water. So combining those would form something like flow of the mind, which is pretty close to the actual definition, narration that describes the flow of thoughts in characters' minds. Stream of consciousness tries to capture the natural flow of characters' thoughts, often by adding the five senses, like sight, touch, smell, taste, and hearing. For example, My Hero Academia Season 1, Episode 1, they show this. This example shows his thoughts as he reacts to the situation he is in. They use phrases like, so you can get a grip of how he's feeling as if you're in the situation yourself. Authors tend to use this technique so you yourself as a reader can feel what the characters are feeling. There are many different ways to express or write this. This example isn't the only way.
Innuendo.
Innuendo means a subtle suggestion or hint that implies a meaning without actually saying it. I'll be explaining the definition so you can understand it more clearly. It's subtle hints just beating around the bush. Like the main idea is the bush, but you're given small hints as to what the main idea is. Examples would be sayings like, your skin sparkles, or you have a good smile, which are ways of telling someone they are beautiful without actually telling them. Well, that's all the 10 words for today. I hope you have a better understanding of what they all are after watching this video. And since that's all I have left to say, bye.